Hey everyone, this is Hybrid, and it's Monday. But everyone loves a Monday, right? But the reason I'm making this video is because basically I was running this morning. As you know, I'm training for decathlon right now, which isn't that much fun, really. But while I was running, I had a few ideas in my head. Like, one idea was making a live action Ultimate Spider Man movie with Miles Morales as the character after, he has more issues out, obviously. And then another one was one I'm not going to talk about. But this idea I had is, should DC continue with, animated films or live action films to build up for Justice League? And I know they haven't been making animated films to build up for Justice League, but should they start doing that? And I'm gonna cite a few movies that they could use to build up to a Justice League film, and that would be Batman Year One, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern First Flight. Now, obviously, Batman Year One isn't as likely as the others, as it is basically directly based off of Batman Year One, which is the four-issue story arc of Batman that explains, his first year as Batman. So, with that being said, though, obviously First Flight couldn't have been used because a lot of people said that the live-action Green Lantern movie should have been First Flight. Now, I haven't seen Wonder Woman, but I heard good things about it, and it's supposedly produced by Bruce Timm, who is very well known in the DC anime community as being very good. So, with that being said, though, I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but I'm gonna play kind of devil's advocate, hopefully, with it, where I will talk about both sides, why they should make animated movies to build up for Justice League, and why they shouldn't. So, without further ado, let's begin. Now, reasons why they might want to make it animated, I guess, preload to the Justice League movie, especially at least for the not as financially, I guess, popular characters, and by that I mean characters who you can make a movie, might be relatively expensive though, and then when you make it, might not make a lot of money due to fans' interest in the character. And Armin, I'm sorry, but I have to include Aquaman in this list. So Armin, I know you're probably raging, especially when you heard that Aquaman's most likely not going to be in Justice League, but bear with me here. You might like this idea. So, basically, the reason I'm saying this is because for characters like Green Lantern and Aquaman, there's so much potential for the characters. It's ridiculous how you could, like, especially the Aquaman comic right now. Supposedly, it's really well done. I wish I could try it, but it's one of the comics I'm not currently reading, and I'm kind of busy with other comics, so I don't see myself picking it up anytime soon. But anyways, Aquaman, he lives in Atlantis, which in itself is a big budget. And when you include after that the fact that all the ocean life everywhere, there's so many creatures you could choose from. You could even make up your own for, if you wanted to. So honestly, that gets pretty expensive. Then we go to Green Lantern. He's in a basically a kind of protecting of the universe protection agency, I guess you can call it, for lack of a better name right now. And there's aliens from the whole universe. That's a big budget right there in itself as well. Then you get to the energy constructs that cost money. Then you get to the fact that you're most likely, if you do it, in my opinion, right, Green Lantern could be like Marvel's equivalent to Thor film wise, where that can be how they explore other sides of those universes besides just Earth, because it doesn't always have to be about Earth. I don't know what's with these superhero films thinking that, but no. Jane Foster can go a good year and a half, 2 years without seeing Thor, especially if Thor's been living for a few thousand years at least. So let Thor have a little vacation in some other world. And same thing for Green Lantern. Green Lantern needs to be exploring other sectors of space. That's part of his job. He's protecting the universe, and sure, he might be stationed at the sector Earth's in, but doesn't mean every once in a while he can't swap out with the little buddy, especially when there's like four Green Lanterns on, like, just human Green Lanterns on Earth. So, honestly though, yeah, budgets. Budgets, it's a really big thing. It's very real. Budgets keep some movies from being even greenlit. But animated movies don't have that big of a budget, and they're very easily done. And by easily done, I mean, like, compared to a live action film, an animated film, it's pretty cheap. You can hire the same actors for a lower cost because they're not actually having to physically act, but more just verbally act. And it just makes a lot more sense for some of these films like Green Lantern and Aquaman that may be good, but may not get enough audience. And in terms of Green Lantern, I think they might want to chill with the Green Lantern live action because people still have the pretty sour taste of Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern in their mouth, including myself. But then there's characters like and I guess now I'll switch to the why they might want to do live action. So they might want to do live action because if they want to make a live action Justice League movie, they obviously want to make a live action, I guess, kind of films that lead up to the Justice League, so people really know about it. Because the problem with animated films is that it's kind of hard to sell a hardcore animated film in films without going straight to DVD. So I guess in a sense it makes sense they'll want to do a bunch of live action films first. But we gotta think about it. Marvel's kind of dominating right now, so they need a pretty good live action film to basically compete with Marvel in a sense and not be overrun by them. Similar to how a lot of movies were overrun by the Avengers. I guess the example being Battleship. That was a pretty bad movie in itself, but a lot of people blamed how badly it did box office wise on the Avengers. And then we go to essentially movies like Wonder Woman and Batman. They're not that hard to make live action wise. All you need for real Wonder Woman is very good choreography, good script, good actors, good vision, and you're set. Oh, and you need a woman who's not afraid to maybe put on a little muscle. I don't get they have these super strong characters that can lift hundreds of tons, tens of tons of weight, but they don't look like they could even lift 50 to 100 pounds. So, yeah, if you're gonna have a Wonder Woman needs to have a little muscle, not a lot of muscle, but a little something to let us know she can whip your butt. And then Batman, obviously, as Nolan has shown it, as just about any other director of the Batman films have shown, you can easily make a Batman movie. It's not that hard. Get a guy, give him a suit in the Bat motif, give him a Batmobile, or in Nolan's case, give him the Batpod or Batcycle or the Bat or the Batjet, whatever you want to call it, and you're pretty good to go. So, in all, I think I'd personally rather them do the animated films just because I feel with the animated films they could do more, and I feel budgets really hinder the creativity and the, I guess, quality at times of films or of any media. Example perfectly being Smallville. Smallville had so much going for it, but then they decided to go bigger and broader, and when they did that, budgets got in the way, which gave us probably why Doomsday was barely in it when he was actually finally in it. And among other characters as well, probably why they usually had to take a human appearance. So, as we've seen with the Smallville comics, though, that's not an issue. Which is the same thing with the animated films. It wouldn't be that big of an issue. And also, it'd be a nice thing for the fans, Basically, we could watch animated version, lead up to a live action version. All in all, I think it'd be pretty cool to see. Kind of mix it up a little bit. Broaden the universe's possibilities. Because then you could totally make a Green Lantern core movie. Since they'll most likely want to focus on one Green Lantern. And then, personally for me though, I really like the core in general. I think that you can make a great film franchise out of just the core itself, not even focusing on each lantern. But yeah, that's just my opinions. So yeah, this is Hybrid. Please subscribe, comment, and like. Especially comment on whether you think they should go with animated or if they should just stay with live action all the way. I'll have an official poll on comicbookmovie.com. Link will be in the description, so don't worry about it. And with that being said, this is Hybrid. See you guys later, pretty much.